I love single column Bibles. Always have, always will. There's just something about the simplicity of the design that draws me in. And my goal for this channel is to help you find a Bible that's right for you. And I find for myself that it's often a single column Bible that I reach for as the Bible that's right for me. But recently something interesting happened. A subscriber of mine named Andrew reached out to me and said, "Tim, we hear you talk about your love for single column Bibles, but why have you never made a best single column in every translation video?" And I was like, surely I've made that video before. But you know what? Andrew's right. I've never made that video. So we're going to fix that today in this video. I'm going to go through 8 or 9 different translations of the Bible and tell you my favorite single column edition in each one. Are you ready? Let's do this. Okay, kicking things off with the greatest Bible translation of all time, the King James Version. And my favorite single column edition is this right here, the New Cambridge Paragraph Bible, edited by David Norton. If you're not familiar with this Bible, it's really awesome. David Norton is a scholar who went back into the ancient records of the KJV and released a new edition, an updated edition of the KJV that sought to honor the original intent of the KJV translators back in 1611. So he put this together, and it is a beautiful single column format with footnotes that he has in there. It is a very modern edition of the KJV because it is a paragraph format Bible, which you don't find very often in the KJV, but it's also just the unique backstory of this project in general and what it is. But I absolutely love the look and the feel of this. When you open it up, it's just, again, simple and clean. I'm going to say that a lot in this video. It's a simple and clean edition of the KJV, but also when you read about the background of this project and what David Norton set out to do, it's just really, really cool. So I did a full review of this Bible on my channel a few years ago, and I'll say this once now, and I won't keep saying it, but any Bible that I mention in this video, if you go down to the video description, I'll put a link to where you can not only purchase the Bible, see what its price is currently, but also if I've done a video about it, I will put links to those videos as well. So the KJV is the New Cambridge Paragraph Bible from Cambridge. Okay, next up is the NKJV. Before I show you my winner, I want to give honorable mention to 2 Bibles from Thomas Nelson, the NKJV SCR, Single Column Reference Bible. Love that one. And a more recent release called the NKJV Prayer Bible. That one turned out really, really great. But my favorite single column NKJV is the Humble Lamb NKJV Shepherd. This is the collab I did with them earlier this year in the Desert Camel is Skylar, Desert Sky colorway. But I love this Bible. A beautiful, very well-designed single column typesetting with the Milo typeface, cross-references in the outer margins, blue accents on the page, blue letters for the words of Christ, all of those Gustave Doré illustrations throughout this Bible. Humble Lamb just makes incredible Bibles. If you have not gotten one or seen one in person, you've got to check one out. But the NKJV Shepherd, I said this in a recent video, I wish they would make other translations in the Shepherd. So to keep this exact same format at Humble Lamb, but just release it in different translations, I think that would be absolutely incredible. So NKJV is the Shepherd by Humble Lamb. My favorite ESV single column Bible is none other than the ESV Heritage from Crossway. This Bible is fantastic. In fact, in my top 5 Bibles, my current 5 favorites, the last 2 years, this was number 1 on the list. I've got the affordable True Tone edition as well as the super premium, what is it called? Heirloom collection. They all have different names. It's hard for me to keep up sometimes. The Heirloom collection. These Bibles are fantastic, but it doesn't matter whether it's got great goat skin and things like that. The design, the typesetting is so awesome. Again, find a Bible that's right for you. I'm convinced that if the design on the inside draws you in, there's something about a Bible when you open it up, you either want to read that Bible or you don't want to read that Bible. And for me, this is one that I want to read. It's not only, in my opinion, the best single column ESV Bible, I think it's the best ESV Bible all the way around. If somebody comes to me and says, "Tim, I want a good ESV Bible," I always say, now I understand this is a little bit subjective, but I always say, check out the Heritage. You can get the affordable edition, spend some time with it. If you love it, there are premium options out there, but this is a great Bible. I love it so much. From Crossway, the ESV Heritage. One of my favorite single column Bibles is the LSB Stridon, which is currently available as I'm recording this, I think in 3 different translations, and I wanted to find the right place to slot that in. One of them is the ESV. It couldn't be there because I love the Heritage so much. The other is the NKJV. It was a toss-up. That's one of the ones that I thought about, but I really do love the Shepherd better. But in the NASB, I don't think there's a better single column. There's a few good honorable mention NASBs out there as well, but it's a beautiful single column, verse by verse design. Again, I'm thinking about the NASB as a translation that I like to use when I'm going to go do a little bit of a deep dive into the scriptures. I like it as a translation to study with. As a matter of fact, I did a video a few months ago called The Best Bible Translation for Deep Study, and I talked about the NASB in that video because I think it's a really great translation for just that. So taking that format, verse by verse, reference Bible, fully loaded with the NASB, this one is hard to beat. The other thing I like about this is that the Lockman Foundation did a little partnership with Schuyler, and they released what they call the Wide Margin Reference Edition of the NASB 2020, and it's the exact same typesetting as the LSB Stridon. They did not release it in a premium edition. So they left the premium edition to Schuyler, and they also didn't have like red accents on the page and things like this. So this is just black text everywhere, but a great Bible that is very affordable from the Lockman Foundation. And you're basically getting the Stridon in a more affordable package if you want to check it out. So for the NASB, I'm going with the combo of the Stridon and the, what was it called again? The Wide Margin Reference Bible from the Lockman Foundation. Okay, next up is the LSB, and I went back and looked at every single LSB Bible that 316 Publishing has released. They have a few different single column options, but my favorite is one of the very first Bibles they ever did, which is called the Handy Size. This is a nice hardcover. I guess it's more of a cloth over board, really affordable. I think I paid like $25 or $30 for this Bible. The paper is incredible, red accents on the page, a beautiful verse by verse single column design, lots of space, and they actually made another version of this Bible. What was it called? The large print wide margin is this Bible just blown up. So this has a 9.5 point typeface. If you want it a little bit bigger with bigger margins, you can go with the large print wide margin. That's a 10.5 point typeface. But again, simple and clean. I like that they did bolded verse numbers when they start a new paragraph, that everything is justified just so. It's a really nice Bible, and they've made a lot of good LSB Bibles at 316 Publishing, but this, one of the earliest ones, still kind of shines out to me as one of the best. So when I'm reaching for the LSB, I'm reaching for the Handy Size. There are only a handful of single column NRSV Bibles to choose from, and my favorite is the Word on Fire Bible from Word on Fire Catholic Ministries. I've got here the hardcover edition of the Gospels. Now, they're releasing the entire Bible over the course of, I think it's 6 or 7 different volumes. How many do we have so far? I'm looking. I've got a stack of them over on a table you never see. It's kind of funny. You never see what's just off camera, but there's another shelf filled with Bibles. There's some guitars hanging on the wall, some of my wife's artwork, but I have 4 copies of volumes, 4 volumes of the Word on Fire Bible in there. But this has a lot going on in it. It's beautiful. It's the most different of any of the Bibles that I'm going to talk about in this video because it's filled with artwork, commentary, and things like that. But the actual text of Scripture itself is in a single column format. They use gold accents for the chapter numbers and things like that. But this is a fully loaded, what I would call Catholic study Bible that really does a great job. So it's the NRSV CE technically, but I think that still counts. And it is just beautifully designed in every sense of the word. I think that these turned out fantastic. The Word on Fire Bible. Okay, I had to sneak this one in there. The NET Full Notes Edition from Thomas Nelson. Tell me if I'm cheating or not. Does this count? I'll show you a picture of this Bible. The actual text of Scripture is in a single column design, but then all of the notes, the full notes, all of the translator notes for the NET translation are in 3 columns around that center column, single column text. I think this counts. I'm giving it to myself because the text of Scripture is in a single column. I'm actually going to do a follow-up. I have reviewed this Bible in the past, but I'm going to do a special video about this Bible very soon because it's one of my all-time favorites. It's absolutely incredible. And the fact that it had an opportunity to just mention it in another video, this is often on sale on Amazon. And I know so many people who've said, I used your link to get that Bible and I got a great deal on it. This hardcover edition is really awesome. It's a great study tool. And yes, technically, the text of Scripture is single column, the NET Full Notes Edition. Okay, the CSB is another one of those translations that I really had to think about which single column was my favorite. I chose this one mostly because I love the design, obviously, but I also love the size, which is an interesting point. This is called the Single Column Personal Size Bible. This is the Holman Handcrafted Collection in slate goatskin. I would call this not a personal size Bible, but a mid-sized Bible. I think once you get as big as this Bible is, it doesn't really feel personal size to me anymore. And I think Bible publishers should decide together at what point is a Bible too big to be called a personal size Bible anymore. I think we really need to work on saying mid-size more. Anyway, very, very nice single column design, easy to read. I don't love it as much as the ESV Heritage, which I gush about, but I think when it comes to a nice readable design, it's really, really does well. It's got red accents on the page. I've mentioned that a few times. I like when a Bible has red chapter numbers, red verse numbers, red headings on the page. I think it just kind of breaks up the monotony of the text a little bit. And so this one looks really nice. And they have this in, again, several different editions, everything from premium to genuine leather to the synthetic leather. So there's lots of different price points in there for you to check out the CSB single column personal size. But also, I thought about this when I made the decision. I thought, I hear from people who love this Bible a lot, which I hear from guys who say, hey, have you checked out the single column personal size? Like, yeah, I did a video about it. Oh, I really love that Bible. I just found out about it, yada, yada, yada. So I've heard from a lot of folks who say, I really like this Bible. And you know what? It's for good reason because it's really, really great. So from Holman Bibles, the single column personal size CSB. The newest Bible on my list is my NIV selection. This is the NIV Lectio Bible from Zondervan and Practicing the Way, a really cool reader's Bible. So not only is it single column, but it doesn't have verse numbers or chapter numbers or section headings. It really is an immersive reading experience. I like this one a lot. If you're not familiar with Practicing the Way, they're a nonprofit organization that creates resources to help us do that, just that, to live the way Jesus taught us to live. And so they did this Bible as a collab with Zondervan for their scripture practice, which I think they do really cool stuff. But again, you want to just be with the Bible. If you take out the verse numbers and the chapter numbers and things like that, it really does help you just kind of dive in and want to keep reading because you're not naturally breaking things up. And this is the way the Bible was originally written. The original writers of the Bible didn't have chapter numbers and verse numbers. They just kind of wrote. And so it feels like you're kind of connecting with something deeper. So again, full review on my channel, link in the video description. This Bible turned out awesome. The NIV Lectio Bible. Okay, the last translation on my list is the NLT, and then I'm going to do an honorable mention and ask you for your feedback. But when it comes to the NLT, I'm going with the original NLT Filament Bible. So many people know about the Filament collection now. Almost everything that Tyndale Bibles prints is filament enabled. So you open up the page, you scan it on your tablet or your phone, and it'll open up this thing called the Filament app that has tons and tons of content, videos, study notes, devotionals, maps, charts, graphs. It's a really cool way to read and study the Bible with a digital resource available to you. And the original Bible that they did that with was this beautiful single column filament Bible. They actually took the same design, added cross-references to it, or maybe they took that design and took the cross-references away for this, but it was called the NLT Select, or Schuyler released it as the NLT Caxton, a really great single column Bible. But you know what? The original Filament Bible is absolutely fantastic. I took one of these and sent it to Jacob at Reformed and Rebound, a Bible rebinder, and he made me a really awesome edition of this Bible that I absolutely love. So it's very similar to the ESV Heritage, single column, lexicon typeface. When you open it up, you might even be confused. If you're not paying attention to this has slightly bigger margins on the outer margin, you might actually think that you're looking at that Bible. But the NLT Filament, the original one, is an awesome Bible. Quick honorable mention to a Bible that's available in multiple different translations. That is the Clarion by Cambridge Bibles. This is a really cool single column Bible. Again, it's similar to the Heritage and that Tyndale Filament Bible. It's got cross references in the margins. It's like a short and stout Bible. Becca actually carries one of these with her to church every single week. I got a rebind from Daniel at Logos Bible Rebinding, and so she carries that with her. So I'm actually pretty familiar with that one because I often grab it and read something from it during church, or I look for a passage of scripture, that sort of thing. But I think this is a very, very nice Bible. And of all of Cambridge's Bibles, this single column Clarion design really, really stands out to me. And again, it's available in multiple different translations. So if you want a nice premium but personal size Bible that's single column, definitely check out the Clarion. So there you have it, the best single column Bibles in every translation. Now, my guess is there are some of you out there who either disagree with one of the Bibles that I selected, or you think that I've forgotten something altogether. And if that's the case, I want to invite you to leave a comment and let me know. And if you'd like to get a closer look at any of these, whether that's a full video review that I've done or links to order them online, check out the video description. I'll put all of that information down there. Let's give it up for Andrew for recommending this video. That was a great suggestion. I'm honestly surprised that I have not done this already. And if you have great suggestions, if you think there's a video that you're thinking, why has Tim not done this video? Then leave me a comment and let me know which video you think I should do. If you haven't already, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel as well. This was so much fun for me to do, and I appreciate you watching. Thanks so much, everybody. I'll see you next time.